Today we're diving into The Gorge, a film filled with love, betrayal, and deadly secrets. It's not just a romance, it's a scandalous affair where passion and violence collide. Trust me, you do not want to miss this. So let's get into it. In a remote cave cloaked in silence, a shadow waits. 10 long days pass in absolute stillness, and then the shot. Precise. Deadly. The bullet finds its mark, and just like that, the kill is done. The shooter? Dras, a name whispered in the underworld, a ghost with a rifle. She slips the empty shell into her pocket, her trophy, her curse. Elsewhere, the gears of war are turning again. Levi Kane, a former elite soldier with a haunting kill count, is summoned. His record is spotless, on paper. But the truth? Bloodier than numbers could ever reveal. Chosen for a classified mission, he's stripped of identity. No phone, no watch, no name. Dropped at sea, he marches through miles of wilderness to a post forgotten by the world. A ghost border between the US and Russia. There, isolation reigns. At the edge of the gorge, an abyss blanketed in thick fog and filled with the unknown, Levi meets Jack, a lone soldier who hasn't spoken to another human in months. They guard 2 towers, east and west. The mission? Keep watch, load the guns, replace the trackers, and above all, if you hear anything from below, run. Because something lives in the gorge, something not human. Levi settles in. Days bleed into nights. Months stretch into silence. Until a glimmer of life flickers from the opposite tower. A sniper's silhouette. A woman. It's Dras, assigned to the west tower. 2 ghosts, guarding opposite ends of a gate to hell. And slowly, through glances and gestures, a fragile connection forms. Time moves strangely. September fades into October. Loneliness turns into curiosity. On her birthday, Dras breaks the silence, celebrating alone, a lone figure dancing in the fog between life and death. She doesn't know his name. He doesn't know hers. But in this deadly quiet place, that doesn't matter. She decides to test something deeper than loyalty. Trust. She places a small bottle in front of Levi Kane. A silent challenge. No words exchanged. Just steel nerves and steady aim. Levi raises his rifle. The bottle shatters instantly. A flicker of emotion crosses Dras's face. Her brother was a sharpshooter too. She won't be left behind. In one fluid motion, she raises her rifle and fires. Another bottle down. In this deadly wasteland, it's the first time something feels alive. That moment, simple, wordless, electric, ignites a bond. 2 warriors, born for war, sharing peace in bullets. But peace? It never lasts here. Suddenly, from the shadows of the fog, they come. Creatures breach the horizon near the east tower. Dras doesn't hesitate. She opens fire, her sniper cracking like thunder across the gorge. Levi sees it, the chaos, the impossible shapes. His body jolts into motion. The machine gun roars to life, tearing through the night as these grotesque monsters scale the walls, trying to reach the top. One makes it. It claws its way up Dras's tower. The end feels near, until a shot echoes from afar. Clean, ruthless. He saves her from death with the calm precision of a man who's been on the edge before. When dawn breaks, Dras whispers a truth that needs no explanation. This was the best birthday of her life. A celebration written in gunfire, forged in survival. The next day arrives, and routine resumes. Reload the bullets, replace the spent tracking mines, check the wiring, repair the towers. And that rope device? The one that lets them glide between levels? It's more than a tool. It's a lifeline. As time passes, Dras finds distraction in piano keys and quiet melodies. Levi? He takes to routines. Fixing, building, surviving. Then comes December. Snow blankets the land, but inside, warmth begins to grow. They build snowmen, effigies of one another. They laugh, watching each other dance through binoculars. Music floats across the cold air. He drums, she sways. They play chess. Share quiet moments that feel louder than the silence surrounding them. They're still alone in the world. But now, they're alone together. It's February. On one bitter evening, Dras writes something different. It's a hard day. I wish someone were here. It's her father's death anniversary. A suicide that still echoes through her soul like a haunting lullaby. The next morning, Levi gears up. He loads a bazooka, preps the cable launcher, and lays out a wire. Then, fires a massive shot toward the West Tower. A steel thread zips through the sky, connecting them. A message follows, asking her to dinner. Dras smiles. For the first time in a long time, she isn't alone in her grief. Crossing the wire is brutal. Gravity pulls, muscles scream, wind howls, but Levi pushes through it, inch by inch, until he crashes into her tower, soaked in sweat and smelling like exhaustion and adrenaline. She greets him with a smirk. A soldier who survived hell deserves a bath. He bathes. She hides his clothes, watching through the tower's cameras like a mischievous ghost. That night, they dine together under the dim lights of war and survival. She speaks, for real this time, about her father's death. The pain, the silence it left behind. He listens, then shares his own legacy. Generations of soldiers. A bloodline of duty and sacrifice. Then they dance and chill. And somewhere between the steps and the silence, between two broken people and one soft song, love blooms. Fragile, but real. But sadly, peace never stays long. The next morning, as Levi prepares to return to his tower, he steps onto the return wire, a soft click. The cable brushes against a used tracking mine. An explosion rips through the frozen air. The cable snaps, and Levi plummets into the gorge. Gone, swallowed by the dark abyss. Dras stands frozen, not because she's afraid. She's been through too much for fear. She was trained for war, not emotion. But this moment hits different. Every heartbeat feels like a war drum. Every breath a silent scream. And through it all, just one name echoes Levi. He made the war feel like life again. And she's not losing him. Not now. Not ever. She grabs her weapons. Fast. Focused. Bullets slam into place. Straps tighten. Boots hit the ground. She's moving. No hesitation. She runs full speed and jumps. The gorge swallows her whole. Wind whips past her face like knives. The rope burns in her palms as she rappels down. Breath sharp. Eyes locked. But fate has other plans. It's no longer yellow. It's violet. And that means the danger has evolved. As they go deeper into the gorge, they discover something shocking. An entire military facility buried in time and tragedy. While exploring, they piece it all together. This place didn't just collapse. It was overrun by something inhuman. Hunted again, they hide in an abandoned church. But salvation turns into a trap. Spider-like creatures with human skulls crawl out of the dark, attacking from every corner. A perfect nightmare, a blend of ancient evil and sci-fi mutation. They barely survive the ambush. Bloodied, bruised, and running on fumes, they stumble upon a hidden lab, frozen in time since 1946. Inside, dust coats everything. But the silence is screaming. Then, they find it. A cassette. Old. Brittle. Humming with secrets. They press play. A crackling voice spills the truth. Experiments. On human DNA. Twisted trials meant to reshape mankind. But something went horribly wrong. What came out? Monsters. Hybrids. Humans fused with trees. Insects stitched into flesh. Roots winding through ribs. Blood pulsing inside leaves. But Levi spots something strange. Modern PCs. Sleek. Too advanced for 1946. Way too advanced. He hacks in. Files load. Horrifying data floods the screen. A secret blackmail company. Privately funded. Globally hidden. Illegally evolving DNA to create super soldiers. And it gets worse. A missile. Armed. Ready to launch. A siren blares. Sharp. Piercing. Final. They freeze. And then they remember. The warning on the lab door. If alarm goes off, run. It all clicks. The experiments, the creatures, the secrecy. Madame Barth, the woman who sent them here, she's been lying. Not even the US or Russian presidents know this place exists. Turns out, the east and west towers they passed earlier weren't just checkpoints, they were surveillance hubs, keeping drones armed and the entire operation hidden. Just then, a group of mutated creatures appears. They drop a bag full of weapons at their feet. Dras's instincts scream trap. But they're out of ammo. No bullets, no chance. She hesitates, then reaches. Too late. She's snatched, dragged by a monstrous rider straight into the red zone, the deadliest place of all. Imprisoned, her DNA scanned. The creature in charge. B. Shaw, once a soldier, stationed at E Tower in 1946, now unrecognizable. Mutated beyond humanity. Legend says the blackmail company betrayed him, threw him into the gorge. The fog did the rest, fused him with the forest. Now he's a walking nightmare. And if that fog gets into your system, you've got 5 days. Then you become just like him. Drasa and Shaw clash. Brutal. Sharp steel slicing through mutating flesh. These creatures, photosynthetic. They breathe, yes, but they also feed on sunlight. And they don't die easy. Just when Shaw has the upper hand, Levi returns, no hesitation. He takes the shot, blows out Shaw's eyes, burns his infected body to ash. But it's not over. They still have to get out, and the only path leads through a living forest, where humans are fused to plants. Trees breathe, leaves drip blood, and nothing wants them to leave alive. In this post-apocalyptic nightmare, Levi arrives just in time, gruesomely bursting a creature apart to save Drasa. They enter a human-plant network, where unconscious people are fused with vines, breathing oxygen to keep the plants alive. It's a terrifying scene straight out of a nightmare. As they try to sneak through, Drasa slips on a vine. The network awakens, and all the plant humans begin attacking. Levi unleashes fire, burning them to ash. Eventually, they make it to the purple zone, where they find a car. They race into the yellow zone, driving full speed, mowing down anything in their path. Then, they spot the rope to escape. But the climbing device Drasa had dropped earlier is gone, so Levi ties the car to the rope's motor, and they ascend with the car. But the mutants aren't done yet. A final battle breaks out. Finally, Levi breaks the car's fuel tank, soaks the creatures in gas, and sets them ablaze. The two barely survive. Once they're out, they make a decision. They're done protecting this place. They'll leave forever and start a new life. Drasa reveals she has a secret safe house in France, where they can live in peace, and maybe even get married. But there's one last job to finish. Levi decides to head to the West Tower. His plan? Plant a timed bomb, blow the facility, activate the missile, and erase this nightmare forever. But Barth gets suspicious. She contacts him and asks if he activated the old computers. Levi denies it. She orders him to neutralize the imposter in the West Tower. But Barth already knows. Levi and Drasa plan to flee and expose everything. So she makes her own plan. Eliminate them both by morning. The next day, Levi is seen tying wires, prepping explosives. Meanwhile, Barth arrives at the East Tower, hunting him down. Levi knows one thing. Whether he stays here for a year or not, death is certain. If he stays, the mutation will consume him, just like it did to Shaw. So both Levi and Drasa begin running. But drone helicopters, shotguns, and automated machine guns attack from all sides. In a bold move, Levi detonates the valley using his wire setup, blowing it all to hell, and then prepares for the longest shot of his life. He fires and hits the tower directly linked to the underground missile. Drasa, now far away, watches the explosion, but Levi doesn't make it. He falls back into the gorge, lost. She mourns him deeply, believing she's lost her closest friend. But before escaping into civilization, they had made a promise. If either was exposed to the fog, they would isolate for 5 days, so they wouldn't infect humanity. So Drasa hides out in a cave. She waits patiently, and survives for him. Months later, she's working as a waitress in a small cafe in France. She reads a poem Levi had once written for her, memories flooding back. Suddenly, a voice interrupts, asking if there is a rabbit pie on the menu. She looks up. It's Levi, alive! In front of her, they had once shared rabbit pie at dinner. Now, he's here. Dras runs to him and hugs him tight. And with that, the nightmare ends, and their love story begins. Wow, that was a wild ride, wasn't it? If you loved the chaos, hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss what's coming next. See you soon!